welcome back to my channel for the love of organizing. I'm Laura and I share my tips on creating an inspired home and life you'll love with budget-friendly finds. Let's kick off this video with an outdoor find. This patio set was headed to the curb by our neighbors, partially because the chair forms didn't have functioning seats. Before we rolled the camera, my husband gave the table and chairs a good few coats of this metallic outdoor spray paint, and then he cut out seats using plywood we already had, and we knew we'd be purchasing outdoor fabric and covering the foam in plastic as well, so we made good use of an old mattress pad to give ourselves some cushion for each of the seats. We decided on this striped print from Waverly Fabrics and used a staple gun to secure the fabric. Here's a look at this fresh update with more to come. I saw this crushed satin pillowcase at Goodwill for just 99 cents, and I felt like it was the perfect match for our guest room. We previously had smaller accent pillows, which you saw in my guest room tour, but found they got in the way when guests arrived. This pillowcase adds more impact and is easier to set aside when guests are ready to call it a night. I did keep the small pillow in the front there as well, but I may end up removing it. Now onto the kitchen, I have 3 things to share. First is this mercury glass look jar that holds a votive candle. It's a nice fall accent in our kitchen. Next, I did a little makeover on these glass canisters. I love how practical canisters can be, and I was hoping to upcycle these enough to bring them out of our pantry and onto our counters. I painted the lids with 2 coats of chalk paint and taped off the bottom portion of the canisters so that I could use that same chalk paint here on the bottom. It works since I know I'll only need to wipe down the outside of the jars every so often, but of course these are now not dishwasher safe. The next step is very similar to the wood look process you saw in my last video with the thrifted frames. I'm just adding a bit of tinted antique wax here in blue and brown, then softening the effect with a coat of the chalk paint once everything is dry. And then dabbing in a bit of turquoise acrylic paint. For the canisters themselves, I decided to bring in the turquoise acrylic paint and just dabbing with my fingers here. I removed the tape and let everything dry overnight and then moved on to this next step. I picked up this burlap ribbon at Walmart along with these letter stencils. I stenciled onto the ribbon with white acrylic paint and attached the ribbon to each canister. Here's a quick before and after. And lastly, these crystal water goblets were under $1 a piece. And for the first time in years, I feel like we have plenty of pretty options for drinkware in our kitchen, and it is almost all thrifted. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I'm also over on Instagram and Facebook as For the Love of Organizing. Thanks again, and I'll see you in my next video.